Welcome to the Charleston Real Estate Connection Podcast, connecting and reconnecting you with all things Charleston. I am your host, Nia Joy, your golden realtor, licensed in the state of South Carolina. Welcome to the show. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Charleston Real Estate Connection Podcast. I'm here with Jamie Richardson of the Palmetto Insurance Group. Hey Jamie, how are you today?
Good morning. I'm well, Nia. How about yourself over there? Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. I'm great. Thank you for being here on this amazing Monday morning in December.
That's right.
I'm sure, I don't know what your Mondays are like this time of year, but I can imagine with the holidays and everything going on.
It is a little hectic. I have a 4-year-old little girl that's starting to open presents early, and we got a new scooter this morning. So we were scooting around, and we had a broken ankle, and we're eating Christmas cookies and getting ready for school and all that fun stuff. So it's a fun time of year on a Monday morning.
Definitely a fun time in the Richardson house on a Monday. I was not expecting all of that. Oh my goodness. I know you and I have been working together since roughly about 2018, I would say.
Yeah.
You helped a lot of my clients. I think I've helped almost like 50 families, and you helped a great number of those families that were buying and, in need of insurance for their home. So I wanted to introduce you to everyone and as one of my preferred vendors. So, here on the show, what we do is we actually ask all of our guests the same question. What is their connection to Charleston? So Jamie, what's your connection to the Charleston, South Carolina?
So my connection was, I'm originally from Columbia, South Carolina, so just two hours down the road. And I moved here in 2013.
Okay.
So I've been down here a little over 7 years, and I've always wanted to move to the area. Obviously, not as many jobs in the area compared to Columbia, and I had an opportunity to the company I work with. So I worked with Nationwide Insurance initially right out of college in Columbia, and I was with them for about 7 years, but had a sales manager role that I got transferred from Columbia to Charleston. And took it and kind of went on a jump and leap of faith, and excited I did, and fell in love with the area. Actually, I lived in 4 different areas until I kind of fell in love with where I'm at. So I lived in Mount Pleasant, Somerville, West Ashley, and eventually me, my wife, and daughter settled in Johns Island.
Whoa, you have lived. Was that's Charleston County? Did you ever live in Dorchester or Berkeley?
I was when I say Somerville, I was out in Ridgeville, and so I was in Dorchester County, and my wife's actually originally from Pennsylvania, so it was definitely an adjustment for her when she moved down.
What part of Pennsylvania?
She's from outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And now she complains to any weather less than 55 degrees. Just fell in love with the city, the people, the culture. I had a little bit of relatives in the area, not as much now, but just it's such a beautiful area, and it's one of those things where, once you live here for any amount of time and you get here, I don't want to live anywhere else. And
it's hard to leave, right?
It's especially when you combine loving where you live and loving what you do as a unique. Two things that a lot of people don't get to say, and I'm fortunate that I get to say those two things. And it worked itself out, and I moved a couple different times within the same organization, and had an opportunity to start my own agency in 2016.
Okay.
Which is when I went from Nationwide over to Palmetto Group Insurance, and went from a larger corporation to more of a smaller business type. But loving it, just love working with people in the area. But we also work the entire state of South Carolina, so we have that whole area that we service. But love the area, love the unique exposures that we have with the hurricanes and the coastal front, and there's different challenges in insurance with all that. But love where I live.
Did you say you love that You love the dynamic of having hurricanes and
I don't. What I would tell you this, Nia. What I enjoy doing is explaining. I don't ever get asked the question until hurricane season comes. What do I need to do? And I got a hurricane coming, or there's a tropical depression or storm coming. I get so many calls of flood insurance, and do I have flood insurance, or do
yeah,
I have wind coverage? And
yes,
it's just unique conversations that I get to have every year that really should be going on an annual basis more than just 2 or 3 months of the year.
yes.
But it's really a good opportunity for me to explain people's policies and coverages and differences and what they have or what they don't have, because people really don't really know their insurance until they actually have to use it.
So
Majority
true.
of the times.
So true. I experienced that early when we moved. We didn't require flood insurance or anything like that, but definitely did not have a clue. We just bought a house. We're like,
Yep.
how much is insurance? We're shopping around for insurance and how much this coverage is what?
Yep.
Okay, this looks like a good deal. Let's go with that.
Yep.
So I agree. And my clients as well. They call me every now and again, but for the most part, I mean, you guys are the expert on what goes where. And now, because you have your own agency, does that mean you're more or less broker out policies?
Yep. So there's a couple different words. You got an agent, more or less, that works from, let's say, a captive insurance company, a State Farm or Allstate. Then you have what they call independent brokers, independent insurance brokers. And the biggest thing that I would tell you is a broker works for the client, not the insurance carrier. So my number one interest is you as the consumer, you as the client. So I'm consistently looking out for your best interest and
Okay.
providing you options. That's where the value comes into play. So we represent, just to name a few, is Liberty Mutual, Safeco, Progressive, Travelers, but also we have access to over 25 insurance companies.
Okay.
And let's say in your homeowners insurance, for working with realtors such as yourself, you know we, depending on where the house is located at, there's only certain companies that will willing to write insurance on that home, or the age of the home.
Okay.
A lot of things that the insurance companies look at, rating characteristics. So we just have a lot of different options to provide you. And then another thing that we do is, let's say the policy that you have initially might not be the best policy for you in 3 or 4 years.
True.
So every time the policy renews, we're having a conversation every 12 months to see, has anything changed in your household? Do we need more coverage? Has your home value increased? Do we need to up that coverage? Or let's say if you got married, or your wife or husband has a jewelry items that we need to place on your policy. A lot of
Okay.
things happen in the 12 months. So we're consistently having these conversations with clients, because things do change.
That is important because I mean, I don't think carriers, they don't always reach out to you and say, hey, what's changed? And I can see that. That makes
Yep.
sense. The difference in service that you get. Same thing with agents. I mean, some agents call you throughout the year and check on you, and other agents don't. So, I mean, I think it matters.
And very personable.
Yeah, that matters, especially if you're trying to save
Yep.
money or just or like you said, protect your valuables, that sort of thing. I wasn't until I bought a house I even knew that you could put your jewelry on your with your homeowner's insurance because I never even had renter's insurance when I was in school. I'm thinking I'm just living for the day,
And a
man.
lot of people, Nia, don't even do it unless somebody requires it.
Mhm.
Either you have a mortgage, or obviously you have to have it, and you need to have it. But renter's insurance, unless the apartment complex requires you to have it, most of the time
True,
you don't have it.
true.
But another thing that we do, and then I do, I put to the forefront is, I'm big on customer service. So,
Mhm.
just like with realtors, insurance agents, if you look up on Google, you can find 20 insurance agencies within 10 miles. So
Mhm.
what separates yourself from others in competition? And in the customer service world, I mean, service is huge.
Yes,
And it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to actually do it and walk it through.
true.
And one of the things that we do at my agency is, we're huge on customer service, and I'm really the main point of contact on the forefront and throughout the policy link. So anytime you need anything, you pick up the phone, you call Jamie, the insurance guy, whether it's a claim or a billing issue, or some type of problem, or whatever it might be. You literally, a lot of people, a lot of consumers like to pick up the phone and know who they're talking to every single time, and know they're going to have that value. and
Mhm.
they know that they're going to have somebody that picks up the phone because, I get a lot of clients that get upset when they don't have return calls
Mhm.
or things aren't being done as stated to them. So I'm big on follow throughs and the service perspective.
That means a lot. That means a lot. I know I personally like to, like to pick up the phone and talk to
Yep.
somebody. So yeah, thank you. I know my clients in particular, and working with you have had really good experiences. There have been times where maybe the person was thinking about buying and they wanted to know what the costs were like for insurance, and you've been really helpful with between flood insurance and homeowners insurance. So thank you.
Yep.
Um, I was wondering though, how does one transition from college and say, I want to sell insurance? So I was curious about your business love story and how you went. I mean, obviously, you mentioned you did work for larger companies,
Yep.
and then you transferred into owning your own agency.
Yep.
So what? Tell me about that. What was that like?
So my background, so I'm one of those where my father was an insurance agent as well,
Oh,
and I it's one of those things that you said you really didn't want to do,
mm,
and then you finish your schooling. I went to the University of South Carolina from Columbia, went to school there,
okay.
and I had an interview for a claims adjuster role with Nationwide,
Mm,
with for a local position, and as I was a criminal justice major in
uh,
college. And but anyway, so I took it, and they offered me the job, and so I was on the claim side initially, Nia. So I
okay.
would do in claims investigations and recorded interviews and setting up repairs, and it's one of those things where you have a claim, nobody's excited to have a claim, so your customer service skills are really imperative in that setting, and that kind of got me into the insurance world. But my dad was a nationwide agent for over 25 years, and I enjoy more the relationships more than anything else of
Okay.
having those conversations and meeting new people and talking to so many different peoples in different professions. But what I really enjoyed most was I enjoyed the claim side because it was a good experience, and a lot of knowledge that came into it. I did that for 2 years before I transitioned into working for another agency as an agent,
Ah,
um, in
okay.
Columbia. So I went from claims into the agency side in 2010, and I've been on the agency side really since then. But just the relationships, I enjoy
Mm,
having conversations with consumers and clients, and the biggest thrill is especially for people even nowadays when
mm,
we value what do we value in tight times is money, and
yeah.
when I can have a conversation with somebody and say I'm going to save them $1,000 through 12 months. I mean, that's exciting, and plus either more coverage and then a better experience with an agent that's on their side. So um, just fell in love with those relationships that you have in the insurance side, even though now things are so different. Where 10 years ago I would have probably 20 to 25 people come in my office every day. And
Uh-huh.
even pre-COVID, I was really only having just a few consumers or clients come by my office. So it's even the insurance world has changed so much where things are done over the phone
Uh-huh.
and the DocuSign and
Yes.
all of that. But still, you will always have that consumer, that relationship with clients that
Mhm.
whenever they need anything, that personal experience that they want.
Yeah, and I think that's what people want more than anything. People crave that, and they almost want it like a la carte. Like some people
Yep.
need a more of a stronger connection, and then others are more. I'm okay with talking once a year. Okay, not talking quite as often. And I
Yep.
think that's what matters. I like that you're being a resource. Um, that's meaningful in relationships. So, which is one of the reasons why I think we connected well, um, because you do build relationships and you do work to provide that strong customer service. That's important to me for my
Oh yeah.
vendors. Work on my vendors. I don't feel comfortable recommending
Yep.
people without saying I know this person's going to answer the
Yep.
phone or email, and you've been quite responsive in that regard. And I've never been to your office, although I was near your office many times. I've never had to
Okay,
come.
yeah. So we're right off of Faber Place, right off I-26, in one of the commercial office buildings on the third floor. But yeah, beautiful office building. But yeah, it's just the way of the world now. Not a
Mhm.
lot of people come by. the office now, especially since COVID in March. I think I've seen about 4 people since then that had to pick up some items. So it's a little different, but hopefully things change soon.
Yes, hopefully, hopefully. So I do thank you for everything and you the explaining of how the whole insurance thing works because that was very, very key. I'm gonna make sure I put that in the show notes. And also along with your contact information.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to let the audience know about insurance tips or they should be aware of, or maybe even with there's a huge amount of people buying homes right now with interest rates and that sort of thing. Maybe owning multiple homes. Any advice you have
Yeah,
for?
I would say a couple different things. Let's starting with the homeowners and new purchases. Um, there's a lot of value on having, like I said earlier, a broker to have options afforded to you to shop the homeowners insurance. Flood insurance. There's new guidelines. There's new mapping for FEMA recently that came out that's going to be effective, I think, next month.
Okay.
And I would tell you too, and really anybody, let's just say, you're not necessarily a new client of mine, but use me as a resource.
Hmm.
I have, like you said, for some of your clients that already had an insurance agent or broker, but maybe had some additional questions, whether my property is in a flood zone or not, or is that going to change,
Hmm.
or what does this deductible mean? So definitely reach out at any time with any questions. But again, too, with us, if you are looking for that personal experience with an insurance broker, somebody that's going to call and respond back to you, provide you options, work for you, look out for your best interest. That's what we do. And it's kind of a unique age. I feel like I have really significant relationships with clients
Yeah.
that they enjoy. And the majority of our clients, stay within our agency for a long period of time. It's like, with Nia, we had a good experience on the front side of our first transaction. Well, maybe the biggest thing that you could see that you're doing something right is repeat customers too.
Hmm.
So with, like, I'm sure with you, Nia, you sold a house, let's say, and then 2 years later something happens and they have to resell it. Them to reach back out to you
Hmm.
shows you that you had success in that initial contact.
Definitely.
So even on the insurance side, a lot of people don't understand that insurance brokers can do all product lines. So just because I'm an expert on homeowners insurance, we have great companies on auto insurance,
Right.
renters insurance, motorcycle, power sports insurance, even business insurance we have access to, even life insurance. So a lot of people don't think that their auto or property insurance company can do life insurance, but that's something that we can do. We can do all product lines, keep all your products within the same agency. Another thing to consider too is a lot of people have policies with different companies. So let's say your auto insurance with Geico or Allstate and your homeowners insurance with Travelers. It
Right.
makes a lot of sense to combine those policies within the same agency or company to maximize the discounts and get those 10 to 20 up to 30% savings. And that's another thing too, is we look at on our initial conversation with clients or at the renewals,
Uh,
how do we maximize discounts? What can I do to save money? We're
mhm.
consistently having that while not taking away coverage. How do I maximize my policies?
Right.
And then another thing too, with my experience in claims, a lot of people just don't know what to do.
Mhm.
One of the biggest things I tell initially to clients is always contact me anytime there's a claim or accident that you're involved in,
Mhm.
because moving forward on auto insurance, your speeding tickets and violations stay on your driving record for 3 years
Whew.
for rating purposes. So that's something to consider. And then claims and accidents stay on there for 5 years. Okay. So, when you're having those conversations with teen, youthful drivers or household members, it does have a significant impact, your driving history and habits, on your ratings for moving forward. So just having those conversations, being aware, because a lot of people, when they get in an accident, their first phone call is to their insurance company, regardless if they're at fault or not.
Yes.
So something where that you contacted your insurance company, opened up a claim, but then later closed it and went through the other insurance company for repairs because you were not at fault.
Yeah.
That goes against you. So having those conversations and having a comfortable relationship with your insurance agent letting them know what happened, and then them walking you through the process to show that value, because it does have a lot of value, because it saves you a lot of money.
So you're saying by calling you or calling your agent, they can kind of walk you through,
Yep.
pros and cons, or best practices in order to have you have the best outcome.
100%. Just, let's say if there was small damage to your car and you're not sure if you want to file a claim, is it worth it or not? Having that conversation, or having a conversation, how many times have you came to your car in the parking lot of the shopping center and somebody dinged your brand new car?
Yeah.
And I don't know what attracts new cars to dents, but it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Having that conversation of what kind of deductible do I need to contact the police? Do I not? Those are conversations I have on a daily basis to help consumers and clients with that process, and eliminate too much necessary steps, and save people time, because time is a huge asset. So we really try to provide so many different resources for our clients.
Well, that definitely sounds like a great reason to give you a call. So if you all are looking for homeowners insurance, definitely reach out to Jamie. Even if you have questions, like you said, he is an amazing resource. And again, you will find his contact information in the show notes, as well as in the description, depending on where you're getting this information. So Jamie, the best way to reach you is how?
Yep. So a couple different things I would tell you. My main office number is 843-323-4360. You can reach me really anytime between 9 and 5. My office cell number, which is 803-360-8069. I give that. That's my office cell. I give that to actually all my clients, because things do happen after hours, Nia, and I'm always available when you need me. So sometimes I get that call late at night or something. Let's have a conversation about it. My email is jrichardson at palmettogroupinsurance.com. Again, jrichardson at palmettogroupinsurance.com. So either email or phone call. I usually get back to you if I'm not able to initially within a couple hours. Even with quotes, I get quotes back usually within just a few hours, unless they come through the evening. So definitely reach out. Love to have some conversations with anybody. And just, having that conversation, providing value, I would appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Jamie, for your time on this Monday. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Nia. I really appreciate your time. And I think you are the top of the list on the realtors. And I appreciate the services that you provide our clients. And I appreciate our business relationship 100%. So thank you. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to your family.
Yes, thank you. Same to you. I look forward to an amazing 2020 with you. And hopefully your daughter doesn't open all the presents.
It'll be a challenge.
I've been there.
Yep.
All the gifts are open. So I look forward to following up with you about that to see how that went.
We'll see. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening.
Take care.
This has been another episode of the Charleston Real Estate Connection podcast. Download all of our previous episodes on our website at charlestonreconnection.com. That's charlestonreconnection.com. You can also find us where all major podcasts are being played. Download us today.